A prison employee is off the job now, accused of having sex with inmates.
The Decatur County prison warden says officials made an arrest after catching the female worker in the act on hidden camera. Eyewitness News reporter James Buckley joins us with more on the case. James.
Hey, AJ, Julie, Decatur County prison warden Elijah McCoy says Latoya Biggles had been working at the prison for only 4 months as a part-time dietitian. Now she sits in jail after being accused of having sex with 2 inmates. McCoy says Biggles was in charge of supervising inmates that worked in the prison kitchen. When the other supervisor went on break, Biggles allegedly would go into the dry storage room in the kitchen and lock the door. She and the inmate would then have sex. Biggles faces 2 counts of sexual assault because she was the direct supervisor over the inmates. Warden McCoy says there is zero tolerance when it comes to these cases.
I'll be meeting with my staff later today and to reiterate again that this behavior will not be tolerated, and maybe we can move forward from this.
Biggles could face up to 25 years in prison, a $100,000 fine, or both if she's convicted. Coming up during our 6 o'clock show, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at where this all happened inside the prison. Reporting live in studio, James Buckley, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Prison employee has been fired and faces charges after having sex with 2 inmates.
Latoya Biggles had only been working at the Decatur County prison for 4 months. Eyewitness News reporter James Buckley is live in the studio with details of her arrest.
Hey guys, Biggles was working in the prison kitchen as a supervisor. That's when officials say she took advantage of her power, having sex with 2 inmates. The warden gave us an inside look at where evidence shows the sex took place.
This behavior will not be tolerated.
Latoya Biggles of Bainbridge faces 2 counts of sexual assault charges. She's accused of having sex with 2 inmates at the Decatur County prison. She worked as a dietitian and was the supervisor of the inmates who would work in the kitchen.
She knows the do's and the don'ts and that she can't have any personal dealings with inmates.
McCoy says an inmate tipped off prison officials about Biggles having sex in a dry food storage room in the kitchen. McCoy set up hidden cameras and caught the whole thing on film, which hasn't been publicly released.
She would lock that door from the inside. She would take these bread racks, and she would actually pull them out to this area here. And she would step around this area by putting this bread racks out here, and they would get into this corner of behind the bread racks, and this is where they would have consensual sex.
There's about 60 staff members here at the Decatur County prison, and Warden McCoy says he's going to meet with every single one of them to make sure they understand the zero tolerance policy.
This conduct, I won't tolerate it, and the department policy is zero tolerance. And if you violate these policies, you're going to jail.
McCoy believes this inappropriate sex had been going on for about a month and says the investigation remains open. Now, Biggles could face up to 25 years in prison, a $100,000 fine, or both. McCoy says she confessed to investigators once confronted with the evidence. Reporting live in studio, James Buckley, WCTV Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks so much, James.